Denver Broncos Mile High View, no commercials, no bullshit. Well, I just got back from New York, the land of in-laws and Christmas vacation. I didn't get to see the last half of the Bronco game because I had to go to the Lion King, which is a good show. It was good. But I'm here to talk about this offseason, which really is a big season. The offseason is really a huge season for the Denver Broncos this year. I can't reach the feel-good crowd. The feel-good crowd wants to hear fairy tales about talk of playoffs for next year. You know, the D-Max of the world of sports talk radio, they'll cling on to those old, tired voices, to the bitter end. And then, of course, if things don't work out, they've got a quarterback to throw under the bus, is how it works. I didn't start this channel. This channel is unique as a Broncos channel because I don't go along with the feel-good crowd. I just don't give you the bullshit. The Broncos are a 7-9 team, which I predicted 7-9, 8-8. And let me tell you what, I did come a long way with Drew Lock. I come a long way. I didn't want him, and I'm come a long way because I see some intangibles there. His head is not bigger than his arm, which is a problem for people, Baker Mayfield, who's more interested in making commercials and, all this than listening to his agent than, honkering down and studying and getting the position correct. He's totally overhyped. And Locke, even though he was not the same draft class, is a head above that guy. But a lot's going to depend. But with Locke, there's a lot of work that needs to be done, and he's going to need help. He's not going to be able to. And I wouldn't want a guy that's supposed to put everything on his shoulders. I mean, we were taking a look at Tom Brady. Looking at the playoffs, he wasn't having the greatest game. This idea, he makes people better than they are. No, he doesn't. No quarterback does. He doesn't have he has a great pass blocking line in front of him. It's phenomenal. It's like an amazement to watch. They're not the greatest run blocking team. They couldn't get it in the end zone, punch it in. So, he doesn't have the core of receivers he's accustomed to having. And this is what typical happens to Tom Brady and the Patriots when they don't have the player personnel. So what I'm trying to explain to the feel-good crowd, no, the defense is overrated. Okay, the defense is overrated. And I say that because throughout the season, teams were able to move the ball at will so they could score and win the game. And that's ultimately what a defense is supposed to do. You can sit there and chatter all you want about statistics. But when at the end of the day, they let a lot of teams win games they shouldn't have allowed. They let them win the game. And that is, they are above average defense, but that's about it. And I just recently posted that this offseason, is absolutely critical as to which way this defense is going to go. You're hoping Vic Fangio has a little foresight and can really bring in some players, but quite frankly, let's be honest. He had a decent defense with Chicago. It's decent, but it was nowhere the over-the-top defense until they brought Khalil Mack in. They're going to get Chubb back in that. But, they're going to have the attitude like the San Francisco 49ers and the Ravens, who I believe were only through one round of playoffs. The NFC is getting started here in just a minute. We're only through one round of playoffs. But in my opinion, the two teams most likely to be there are the Ravens and the San Francisco 49ers. Yes, the Saints and the Kansas City are good teams, but in my opinion, they don't have the killer instinct that you need, the step on your throat instinct, which that's what I want for the Denver Broncos to have. To have that too. And I think that this offseason is extremely important. And in my last post, I explain, it's more than just getting the draft right. You're going to have to get rid of player personnel and bring in the right player personnel. You can't let players like Jawan James linger around. And Bryce Callahan, what's going on with that? Can we get people who actually can play? We're not paying people to sit in their hospital bed, and or the hot tub and for the rest of the season. You've got to get out of that type of mentality. So bringing in the proper player personnel and getting rid of the proper player personnel is going to be key this offseason. It's more than just the draft. And if the Broncos are going to move forward, I think they're going to have a cultural change. They are going to have get a little tougher. They're going to have to bring in player personnel who are tougher, who aren't, don't go into Kansas City and pee down the side of their leg. Or, they look forward to going there to try to kick their ass. They have confidence that they can go and push their will. I was watching just the Patriot and the Buffalo Bills, respectively, those playoff games. And, I think that the Denver Broncos need to get there's so much work on the offensive line, not just in pass blocking, but in run blocking. I honestly believe that Philip Lindsey would have had 1,500 yards easily had they had a punch you in the mouth offensive line that can bust open holes. I honestly believe he could have easily hit 1,500 yards these last two seasons had they had that type of offensive line. But when you're drafting bringing in Jawan James type players, then this has been going on for a while, making excuses for Garrett Bowles. You have that mentality. You're never going to get there with that mentality. That's got to change. And I'm sorry if the feel-good crowd can't see that. I think what's really hanging in the balance is the defense. And I went back and, like I said before, Vic Fangio's defense was decent before Cleo Mack, but really, honestly, it took Cleo Mack to come in and really make it the defense. It was like the crown jewel on top. So it's going to, I think this offseason, again, with, the moves in and out, who are you getting rid of, who are you going to keep, is going to make a break of which way this defense. Is this defense going to go below 500 or just be a 500, defense? That's my question. Or are they going to take it to the next step where teams can't, move it at will at the end of the game and score and win and move on with the W? They are going to have to bring in not only player personnel that will turn that around, but there's got to be an attitude change too in player personnel. It's never going to. Who cares if you go to the playoffs if you can't even beat your the team in your own division? You're too busy urinating down the side of your leg. There has to be a cultural change in Denver. That's exactly what this offseason has to be about.